Yo, what's up everyone? This is Kaizouwar. So, not too long ago, I finished an anime known as Frieren Beyond Journey's End. And I have to say, I really enjoyed the anime. The only reason I even, got interested in the anime like I did was because I kept seeing memes of Frieren and Fern all over the place. And I thought, haha, that's funny. And I never really thought about it again until, one random day. I started thinking about one of those memes again. I just started giving this weird low chuckle about maybe I should actually watch this show. On a whim, right? I didn't think too much of it. I was like, okay, let me watch this show. I was super bored. I had nothing else going on. Let me watch it. And holy shit, I did not expect the show to be as good as it was. I thought from all the memes the show was just gonna be like a big giant comedy, right? Did not expect it to actually be as sad and as fun as it was. Right, the show is very, very sad, but it's also super fun to watch. I love this show. I have not read the manga. I will admit that right now, I have not read the manga, but this anime is making me really want to read the manga, and I will get to since the anime's finished its run. So definitely gotta do that. But I gotta say this: I love this anime so much. I want to watch it a second time when I ever get the chance to, but. Honestly, this anime was really good. I loved all the characters. Not a single dry character in the house. I swear to God, every character just stuck out to me and were interesting in their own ways. And I really loved the main central characters. Frieren, Stark, Fern, and I guess Sign if you want to count him, even though he leaves later on. But I really like at least the main four characters that main four quote unquote, because Sign was a main character for a while. But Frieren is such a refreshing character. I don't know what it is about her, but she's the perfect all-around character. She's busted as hell. She's extremely funny. Her design is very striking, right? And I think the idea of her just being this extremely old elf with a horribly disillusioned sense of time compared to everyone else, I think that's hilarious, right? Because when you get old characters in media, you don't really have them talk about time and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes you do, but they don't really go the way Frieren does, because Frieren literally thinks 10 years as nothing, right? 10 years is nothing to her, when 10 years could be everything to everyone else. And I think that's insane. And I love how this story plays off of that in both a tragic way and a humorous way as well, because since the time is completely off for Frieren. And I love that, right? Her hanging with her group, her old party members, Hyer, ARCSYS, and Himmel. I like seeing her dynamic from what she is now to what she is back then, because again, she didn't really, since the time is nothing to her, right? And I feel when she thought about her time with her teammates, and how it was just it was just 10 years for me, but as seeing everyone around her drop, seeing Hyer pass and seeing how Himmel passed, and then seeing how that really did affect her, even though it was just 10 years. And I remember hearing ARCSYS say a line about how it was basically those 10 years were 1/100th of her life, but those 1/100th, that 1/100th changed her. And I think that actually hit me hard. I was like, damn, man. And it actually did hit Frieren hard, too. And I really like that. I really like her character. She's so fun. Now, when I rewatched the show, I will watch it in dub. I didn't get to watch it in dub the first time because I watched it in sub. Again, I have a whim. I wasn't really expecting to actually watch the whole series. I was probably going to watch the first episode and pass. But the first episode was really good. I think this is the first time in a first episode of a series, maybe generally every single character right off the bat. Because you get shown Frieren and her party, right? And they just defeated the Demon King, right? So they essentially finished they basically finished a series of what we would basically have seen throughout the whole series, right? If this was a different kind of series, we would have seen Frieren and her party, travel throughout the world and beat the Demon King, right? But these guys just finished, and it's funny seeing the title Beyond Journey's End. This is not over for Frieren. We're going beyond the end of this journey, right? And I think it's insane how likable these characters instantly become when you don't even know anything about them. They've already finished their journey, they've already done what they were going to do, and it made them all instantly likable. I liked Hyer, I liked ARCSYS, I liked Frieren, and I liked Himmel. And actually seeing how the episode builds up to Frieren not really caring all too much, but then seeing Himmel one last time and seeing him pass and how it broke her and why she didn't get to know him better. I like that. Like, it's nice seeing her interact with these characters. And I love how they use the flashbacks to develop these characters. I think that's an interesting way of like working this type of series, because like you basically have two running stories at the same time. You have Frieren back in her past learning about like traveling like with her group, like her old party, right? And then her traveling with her current party. And I like how like these two feed back into each other in the best way possible, right? Like, I liked Himmel as a character. I really do. I think he's super interesting to work with, because like he's not like he's just some guy. I think that's what's hilarious about Himmel. He's just some dude who just wants to do good and save the world, right? Like, and he has really inspirational moments, and it really does affect Frieren as a character. And I like Hyer too, because he's funny as hell, and it's like seeing him grow old and like look after Fern and talk about how he has a little time left. I think, like, damn, man, it was funny seeing like his past, while he was just a drunk, corrupt priest, and that's how they call him, a corrupt priest. And I think that's super funny. ARCSYS is actually a really interesting character too, because I feel like he would have been the most boring stoic one, but it's showing his moments of fear throughout the series, like throughout the flashbacks and stuff like that, how that feeds back into another character I'm gonna talk about that later. And like how it's just funny seeing like these parallels. Like, I think it's super cool how the parallels from the past feed into like the future. While Frieren is still this, Frieren is not the character she was back then to what she is now. It's basically like how you have characters like Hyer, which like parallel Fern, or ARCSYS paralleling Stark. You have Frieren's past paralleling Frieren's current self, and like these are all separate, different characters, but at the same time, Frieren's the same person, right? But she's not the same person she was back then to the same person she is now. I think that's a cool way of using her as like a way to parallel that. And she also parallels Himmel in a way, right? So I like how Frieren's past and Himmel feed back into her, like how Stark feeds into, like ARCSYS feeds into Stark, or how Hyer feeds into Fern. I think this is a super interesting way of like having these two stories work parallel to each other, and I think it's super, super cool. Because like, I've never seen a story like work this way, where like you're basically living the anime, but like it kind of just like, I'm sure stories have done that before, where they have like flashbacks that tell like the past, and like, you know, the past is like its own separate story, but like it works in a way I've never seen before, and I think that's the cool part. Like, I love how this show like works. I don't know how to describe it. I just cannot describe how this show works, but it just works so well. And again, I love all the characters. I mentioned before, Frieren is such a good character, but I forgot to mention Stark and Fern. Stark and Fern, like they are just the goofiest ass characters, man. Like, I love Fern so much. She's so goofy. Like she has this constant look of just boredom and annoyance, and like when she pouts, it's just like the funniest thing ever. She's super interesting. I like Fern. She's funny as hell. And like, it's nice like seeing like the early parts of Fern, like how like she was taken in by Hyer, and she was taught magic, and she gets to bond with Frieren over that. And I love like their relationship. Like, it's funny because you think like Frieren will be like, because she's the oldest one, right? She would be the more responsible one, but no, Fern is the one that's the more responsible one. Frieren from like going off the deep end for stupid shit. How like, I remember this one moment where like Fern basically tells Frieren, like Frieren says like, oh yeah, we're gonna be in this village for like 10 years, find us some work. And then Fern's like, dude, we're only gonna be here for a week. Stop that. And I think at some point, I feel like Frieren does that on purpose. I feel like she knows that her sense of time is completely off compared to everyone else, and she just does that to troll, which is another angle I love so much. Like, that could be possible, that she's just doing it to troll. But yeah, I really like Fern. It's a nice dynamic. I love their dynamic. And when Stark gets introduced, I didn't really know what to think about Stark. Like, I liked how he was introduced as this cool, calm, collected character, and then he immediately breaks down when Frieren asks, like, hey, Stark, how many monsters have you actually fought? And he's like, I haven't fought any, man. He starts freaking out and crying. I love that, because it shows how much Stark is as a goober, you know? All three of these characters are goobers. I love that. I love their dynamic. They have an amazing dynamic with each other. And I like how Frieren has like absolute faith in them. Because I remember this one time, they went to this village, and like there's these demons running about in this village. And like Frieren was like, yeah, I'm leaving town, bro. I'm leaving town. Like, I was set up. You know, they killed a guard. I was set up. I'm not vibing with this. And she decides to leave town. And then like everyone else, and then like Fern and Stark is like, you're just gonna leave? and then Free was like, yeah, you guys can handle it, right? I have faith in you. And like as you know, as Stark starts freaking out, Fern's like, okay, we gotta get this over with. Let's go do this. And then like Frieren smiles because she knows she has faith in him. I love that. I love when Frieren smiles. It's a cute smile. Like she shows you that she has faith in these people. And I love it, man. And I forgot to say another thing about the amazing art direction animation. Like, oh my god, like. This anime has unbelievably good art direction and animation. Like, dude, every fight scene looks so good, dude. Like, whenever a fight scene shows up in this show, you already know it's gonna be goddamn good. Like, oh my god, this is like better than most like shonen anime we get. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. Like, I remember like the one fight that blew my mind the most was Stark versus this demon girl named Leanie. I can't remember her name, but it was so good because you could feel the impact and how like the actual impact of the fight, like how like both of these characters are using axes and how Lenny can swap between different weapons like a pole arm and a knife and stuff like that, and how like she's copying someone else's attack style. She's copying Aizen's like axe wielding attack style, and Stark brings up like, oh yeah, you're just copying my mentor's moves. His moves hit harder than this. Like she basically freaking guts him with an axe in his side, and it doesn't cut all the way through. And Stark is like, yeah, yeah, my master's attacks were like way stronger than this. Like this is nothing, and then he kills her instantly. And I love that shit, dude. Like I cannot describe it enough. I literally cannot put any clips of this shit on YouTube because it will get taken off YouTube. But dude, you guys have to watch this anime. I'm spoiling so much right now, but it's so good. I have to talk about it. It's so good. Art direction is amazing, bro. Like all the environments and like the big moments when the environment is like fully in view. I love it, man. Every location even feels distinct despite the fact that we're going to different villages and like, oh man, this anime is so good, dude. Holy shit, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. But I want to make a video about individual characters someday. I will. I really need to because I really want to talk about the series in more depth when I get the chance to. But this is all I really wanted to say. I want to make this video go like really, really, really long. But I also make a video about like my feelings after like stuff like to the exam arc. I might make a video about that. I want to make a video about Frieren and Stark and I want to keep talking about this series. It's so good. But yeah, without further ado, I'll see y'all next time. Peace, everyone. Hope y'all have a great day. I'm out because damn this. I might have to go rewatch this anime because holy shit, man. Sorry, this part here was a last minute addition. You could definitely tell because it's at the end of the video, but I really had to add this in there before I forgot to fully render this video because I really had to speak on it. But I really do think the themes of life and death are the way that it affects every character in the series to some shape or form, and especially with Frieren, who, you know, had to witness 2 deaths of her own team members, right? Her own party members, Himmel and Hyer. And Himmel was the one that affected her the most because it's only now that she realized how close she was to, like, how close she could have been to Himmel, and how that changes what she is now, how she wants to get to know people more rather than just being dismissive like she was in the past. And I really love that. I really love seeing the flashbacks she thinks of Himmel because she starts to slowly realize that he really did mean a lot to her. Because over the course of her 10-year journey, she really didn't think too much of it. It was just a job for her to do, you know, go to kill the Demon King, call it square, move on with ourselves, right? Move on with our lives. But seeing how Himmel really did affect her and how, you know, it really changed her as a person and how shows how life truly is fleeting for certain people and not just her, you know, it's the memories that really make you who you are, really. Like, you know, you have a life to live, you have a life expectancy and all that stuff, but like, what's good if your life is without your memories, you know what I mean? And like, it's the fact that she remembers Himmel and all her journeys and how the fun things she had during then, it was really sweet. Like, I think that's what's really good about this anime. I love seeing the flashbacks of what Frieren has about her old party members and how like the stuff that she's going through in the current day, she learns a lesson about it from her past, right? And it affects Fern as well. Fern has lost her family and lost Hyer as well. And then Stark lost people close to him as well. And I like how all these people are affected by loss, but that doesn't really stop them because they eventually found family with each other. I love that. Like, it's like, even though they've been through some loss, they've gained a new family in each other. And I love that. It's very sweet. And I love just I love how they handled like the characters in this game. Like don't get me started the fact that like the old party members were like really well developed, and we still do see some of them like in the like current day. Like we've seen Hyer in his old age. Aizen's still around because he's a dwarf, because that means he lives longer. The only person left out of the equation is Himmel, and Himmel really did affect everyone else in the party. And it's funny enough, it still has a ripple effect through Frieren because Himmel's actions are affecting Frieren, and through Frieren it affects Stark and Fern. And I really like that as well. Like Stark and Fern never knew Himmel, but at the same time, it's through Frieren that's the hero, that his heroic actions and his heroic personality come right through Frieren onto them, and I love that as well. It's so good. Like Himmel's a really well done character for the fact that he's dead. He's a dead character, yet his actions and personality still ripple throughout the entire series. I think that's one of the best ways a dead character has ever been used. That's actually insane how well it's like he's written. I think that's super cool because, like, you know, again, I mentioned before in the video, Himmel's just a guy, but at the same time, he really meant a lot to a lot of people. He meant a lot to the world he saved. He meant a lot to Frieren. He meant a lot to Hyer. He meant a lot to Aizen. And I love that. Like, this guy really, really changed all these people for the better. He was the one who inspired them to go on and take on the Demon King, and his actions and his inspiration and his legacy are still here long after he's gone. And that's why that's what I really enjoy about this show. Like, the past is not to be forgotten. And I love that. It's so good. Like, don't even start the fact that life and death is a theme that carries out through the entire series, not just with the characters I explained before, because with most every side character that Frieren and gang meet, there's always this theme of, like, you know, someone's been passed, or someone's being forgotten, or someone's still trying to cling on to life, or someone has lost someone close to them, and that persists throughout most of the journey through Frieren. And I love that because it's insane how well bundled everything is. Everything like feeds back into each other. Like Frieren giving speeches to other characters, talking and those speeches came from Himmel, or how, like, you know, she's trying to inspire people, or she sees potential in people who don't see it in themselves, or, you know, people who have given up on themselves, or people who've given up on life, or people who have lost their own memories, or people who like just don't want to do anything because they believe their time is up, that sort of thing. It's insane, like, how well it persists. Like, I don't want to like make this feel any longer than it is, but I really love talking about this because it's insanely well done. Like, this show has a good theme, multiple themes actually, but this whole persisting theme of, like, even though, you know, life and death, like death is a thing that is coming, you know, you shouldn't have to, you know, fret too much about it. Enjoy the life you have. Don't even get me started about how interesting the idea of demons are, because the way they work demons into the series is super cool. Like, demons look and act like humans, and like that happens in a bunch of other different media too. But I like the angle they go with the demons, where they can communicate with you, they can talk to you, but you can't really communicate with them, right? There's no communication between humans and demons. They're just speaking the language, right? Like, they're still monsters, but they're only speaking like they're people. They try to, like, you know, use that guise in order to get into, you know, humans' good graces and stuff like that, and manipulate other humans using their words, which does work in the series. And I love the fact that that's a good angle to work with these monsters who cannot be communicated with. You can speak them all you want, but you can't communicate with them. And I think that's, like, amazingly well done. Like, I've never thought of something like that before. Like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, yeah, you got all these creatures and stuff using our language, speaking with us, talking to us, but you're not communicating. That's a deeper level than talking. Like, you know, that's like higher than talking. Communication and talking is a completely different thing. And I love that these demons are just ruthless, like, about that, right? It's insane.